What is going on, everyone, and welcome back to the Bodybuilding Prospect podcast with your hosts George and Al. It's been a little while since we've got on and breezed, man. A lot's been going on. Give the people a little vibes at the life of Mr. Big Alex Williams.
Busy. Busy is the easiest word to use. I think anyone can be busy, though, right?
It's productive busy.
It is, and it's been a cool start to the new year. Of course, as you know, near enough everything that goes on in my life, same as vice versa. But obviously, to tell people what's been going on. So, new year. I think did we mention before about going into a fat loss phase in the new year? Blah blah blah. I think we may have mentioned that a few weeks ago.
Yeah.
But yeah, so fat loss phase. I'm like just over week 3, going to week 4. Obviously, the earlier stages. It's been interesting for me because in an off season, going into a fat loss phase, and having to go with a 0 cheat meal type approach. So no off-plan meal, everything's macro tracked regardless. There is no day of surplus calories. It is all on plan to the letter. And, you know, I'm down over 5 kilo already. You know, of course, a lot of that's inflammation wash off, things like that. But it's interesting how fast things go. Like every night, for example, every off-plan meal I have is usually a Friday night. You'll wake up on the Saturday, maybe a couple of pounds, maybe a pound up or something like that. Now it's the other way. Yeah, and the rest. That's for you, you pig. But, well, the old pig as you used to be. But now it's the other way in the year. The swoosh is what we'll go on to today. We'll mention the swoosh because it makes us both laugh, the term swoosh. But yeah, we'll save that for a bit later on. But yeah, so fat loss phase. I brought on a lifestyle coach, a female lifestyle coach, Danielle, which has been a great move for business-wise, for becoming to help open the door to more females joining my brand. To join my coaching, and the response, which has been the greatest thing, is how positive it has been. So comparing the start of my coaching journey years ago and how the response was then, oh, here we go, here's another online coach, to, oh my God, man, this is fucking awesome. Like, this is going to be awesome for you, blah, blah. I'm thinking, cool. Same person was probably slagging me off when I started. You never know, do you, Rick? Let's be honest. But to my face, it's been positive. So, but that's like a little bit.
That's all that matters. If it is negative, we don't care. We're not interested.
No, namaste with it.
It's a big move, man. It's a big move. Like you said, you're that little corner of the market that you wasn't necessarily struggling to hit, but you was just missing the bigger influx of. You've now capped it. You know, you filled the niche. You filled it.
I mean, what people...
She's a very good candidate for it as well. She's very, very... I don't want it to sound like because I want Danielle, whatever, I want her to come on at some point.
Yeah, Danny, go, Danny.
But I know I don't want to sound like I'm being like insult, but she's very modern day fitness girl club kind of. She's got it already to a T. She knows how she's got to come across on the socials to, like, you know, girl power, empowering females, and she's already she's nailing it.
Just to sort of introduce who she is and why I brought someone like that along. So when it came to someone actually come to the idea of me, a friend, about expanding, me and George always wanted to do something together anyway, and we've already got that rolling with BPA, which is something that was in the pipeline for even too long, but we got together with it. And there was only ever one person who I'd consider to ever work with as a coach, and that'd be George, purely because I trusted him more than anyone. Because I knew he wouldn't fuck me and I wouldn't fuck him, because there's a lot of respect there. And it just had to be cleared up of what we wanted. And it turns out we wanted the same shit, and we were worried the other person didn't want to do it, you know, and then it ended up just rolling. But Danielle, when you prove yourself, she's been a client of mine for coming up to a year. Yeah. And she's a lifestyle client, doesn't miss a beat, has extreme attention to detail, picked up macro tracking quicker than any other client I've ever spoken to. And because she already used this before she even worked with me, she already had the sort of basis that she was just living. That was her life. Yet she just needed a little bit of a direction turn to go in the right way. And I don't know, you just get a feeling and you kind of roll with it that this person's going to be great for it. And the energy is nothing but exciting. And
you can pick up on energy, man. It's a good indicator, man. It's like that gut feeling you get. It's the energy you're feeling off the person. When you know it's going to work, you know it's going to work.
And to see the response she was getting from her friends, family, whoever, even athletes in the gym, you know, like Charlotte, for example, like saying to her, even Babs supporting it, people like that who are higher in the industry, that sat a lot with her, because when you have a name of someone, give you props, it sits a little bit better. Say, for example, when me and you might get a DM or a reaction on a story from someone we rate, like another athlete, it's like, okay, I must be doing all right because, this fucking champion thinks I'm doing all right as well. So I must be doing okay. Not that everyone needs validation, but it's nice to know that you're respected of somewhat.
Yeah, we're all human beings, man. That little external validation, it gives anyone. You can give the humblest person a little boost, man. There's nothing wrong with that. But exactly that. I think though that Shah and Babs, once upon a time, were starting out like Danny is. So they was there. They've been that person, so they know how much it means when the peers and the people that are above you and are killing it and doing well, when they give you that little bit of confidence or that little bit of backing that they probably didn't have. It goes a long way. It goes a real long way, especially like fucking everyone in the gym, all the females, the cup to Shahs, the Madam Free Swords, like
trust me,
personality, big persona. She's quite similar ages, not.
You're filming today, we're in there today.
You're in that gender cap where she's not that far away from us. She's just, a couple of years older. That's where I could be. She's an inspiration.
Yeah, that's it. And what's been great is the reason why I made a move like this is you mentioned about the niche with it. As a male athlete pursuing bodybuilding, anyone comes across my or your profile on Instagram or socials, say for example, George is 6 foot odd, huge, with a big old beard and a bald head and covered in tattoos. Without knowing who George is, you may have the image that he's been to prison twice, or just that the stereotypes of what comes along with the look, because
really?
He's huge. He's got forehead frown lines 24/7. Yeah. But in terms of when you know him, he's actually completely the opposite. Same as other guys in the gym that I thought were monsters and be really mean. They're actually like some of the nicest guys I've ever met, end up becoming friends with.
It's always the way. It's always the way.
Someone might look at me as, a guy wants to be a bodybuilder. He wants everyone to look like him. Don't get me wrong. I love to work with people who want to be athletes. I'm a big fan of it because it's the mindset change of wanting to go that way. But for a lifestyle client, you have to understand, I don't want you to be that way. I want you to have the balance in your life, and how big I am on balance with certain things. And it's just getting that across, and you're only going to get that by getting that one-to-one time of talking to them, voice notes, call consults, things like that. But it won't even get to that point because they've already seen XYZ individual who is a lifestyle person himself, does lifestyle coaching, put 2 and 2 together. That's the coach for me. So bringing Danielle on board, she is a lifestyle person herself. She's going to be the queen of macro tracking, and she understands the balance.
Macro tracking.
Why else would you not want to work?
It's massive, especially with my female clients. Men are quite easy typically when you look at the gender differences of, you give them a meal plan. I always give them both options. They can macro track, they can follow the plan, but you tend to see like what you see in the experience is that men more like structure. Tell me what to eat. I'll eat it day in, day out. I don't know, maybe it's that hardcore, I just want to be that guy. Maybe it's that coming out. And when you come with the females, they need that variety. They, all of my midweek diet changes where I've got females, people messaging me, it's always female clients. I'm a bit bored of this meal. Can we change it out? So the macro tracking thing is a massive, massive factor from the educational front as a coach. I've started pushing into my clients because it saves them coming to me midweek going, can we swap this meal out? Well, how about I'm going to spend a little bit more time than just changing the meal. I'm going to spend some one-to-one time with you, teach you it, and then you're not going to need to message me again because you already know my answer. Change it how you want, make the numbers work.
I had the same thing the last week. I had a client already he's getting to the, I think 14 weeks he's been with me. Starting to get a little bit bored of the structured diet plan. No problem. I was on the phone to him for an hour going through, way longer than it should have been, but I wanted it to come across. And it was one of the real times of showing someone from scratch, let's go into macro tracking. Let's give examples. We took one of his meals, plugged it into chronometer, took a look at everything in there. And then we come out of an option. What else do we want? He originally wanted, I think it was like a yogurt meal with granola, and he wanted steak or something. I think he wanted steak. And we plugged in steak didn't work because we'd have to, for a first lesson on macro tracking, we'd have had to take fats from elsewhere in the diet to replicate that. And was that right for a first lesson? Let's not go into this purely because...
That's what granola he was using off the top of my head.
See,
some of them are sneaky, man. You got to go careful.
Fat content. Oh yeah, I knew when I said granola, you were going to perk up. Because it's supposed to be obviously a low-fat cereal for that meal. He was having granola from day one, which I only just found out. So it was working. It's not broken. Doesn't need fixing.
Yeah.
Continue. We'll roll with granola. So we get the brand up, all that sort of stuff. And we go through it. And we ended up turning that meal into, I think he really fancied prawns for one of his options. We put prawns in there, plug them in, because he gets his fresh from a deli or something like that.
Some money,
yeah, he has actually, yeah. And
I want some steak. I want some prawns.
Oh yeah, he's down Dobbies every week, man, getting the meat hampers. So, but that's one thing that me and you can both obviously say is investing more so in our food, especially this past year. How much more enjoyable and the actual difference there is within the food itself. And that's not us being snobby. That's not me. I'll say for myself, it's conveniently I moved to a different town, and the building next door to my apartment is a butcher's. So why wouldn't I walk in there and take a look to see what it is? I don't even have to drive to Tesco to pick up meat anymore. I walk next door.
Yeah, I do. Expenditure taking a dive. That's why you got to do all them steps now, because you ain't walking to Tesco no more. You just go down next door.
Honestly, man, I do. If I'm not working, it's got to be. I have to make an effort to walk twice a day. Otherwise, I won't hit my cap.
Yeah. There's a good image. There's a good point you brought up there about like image. The big, bald, bearded, tattooed guy.
Yeah.
I find that your first impression on your social media, when you're just coming from the business aspect and coaching aspect, it's hard to fit the quota for everyone.
Oh yeah, because stereotypically, what should we look like? What would a bodybuilding coach, a physique development? So we'll go physique development coach. What are we supposed to look like? Me shredded in a fitted blooming t-shirt or something, with my jawline and my hair slicked back like Action Man, similar to what it is now, just with a skinnier face. Should I look like that, with my veneers? Maybe, I don't know. Or I
was going to say, it seemed a bit strange. Like for you, I would have thought the muscle model, the good picture you got from when you was on stage and stuff, that would really appeal to like a lifestyle female.
But of course, they'd like to look at it and they realise in a relationship, like, oh, maybe not. But then again, that's just like the one-off. Because that look, even to some, we get called disgusting. Because some people genuinely think, oh, that's a bit much. Because they think that guy on the top left picture on my Instagram is how I look every day, when that's obviously not the case. That's when I'm diureticked off my tits and dehydrated. You know what I mean?
I think the next step on from the image, obviously, like you said, me, probably the amount of females will probably come to my page, look at my page and go, nope, he looks like a meathead. Looks like an old Viking with wrinkles.
Yeah, we look like a meathead.
However, when you start looking at the content I put out, or you checked out my YouTube channel, you see there's quite a lot that applies to female physiology, because it's something I unintendedly kind of worked my way to specializing in because of Zoe. But it's that giving people a chance, that don't take people on face value. So if you are looking for a coach, I understand you resonating and kind of gravitating towards people that you like the look of. But actually take some time to look into who they are, what their brand is about, what they may specialize in, if they do specialize in anything, obviously client results and stuff. But don't just take the face value, because like I know I look like an old wrinkly Viking, but what's his name?
Joe?
No, Ragnar
Lothbrok.
Yeah, I've got the blue eyes and everything, I'm telling you. I might look like Ragnar, but I'm not a meathead at all. I'm usually like the bipolar opposite. So just take the time to actually look through a coach's content.
Bipolar opposite.
Yeah, literally. But yeah, man. I mean, for me, it's just standard procedure, doing the do. We've both been
so you slingshotted out of your diet phase. I think we should have covered a bit of that last time. You dieted for a total of 10 weeks?
Yeah, it was 10 weeks total, 4 weeks, 2 4-week blocks of deficit with 2 weeks maintenance, before everyone gets that confused on Instagram.
Yeah. which I'm hitting something very similar. I'm coming up to week 4 of deficit. First training block's going to be out the way. Training is becoming a little bit more difficult because of the volume increments that have been put in place. It's testing me, Once you get in deficit, you can easily get in that mindset of, I'm weaker, or that I'm in the deficit. Yeah, but my deficit's not that heavy. Yeah, I'm not eating as much food as I was, but you know, when you're an enhanced athlete, that's the reason why we have these in place, and it's a mindset thing.
You're kind of levering that stress off with the anabolics, and that's why they get increased, and they titrate up over the course of it. But yeah, you're going into that first cyclical 4-week diet, 1-week maintenance. The beauty of the diet break is so good, man.
It's something that we haven't really come across too much before in our careers of physique development. But to know I've only got a diet 4 weeks to then get a whole week of my maintenance calories, 3,500 for me to maintain this physique. Statistically, that's how it's calculated. And I was like, madness, which you find this out. It's like, oh, that is my maintenance now. Purely because of the size I am now.
Yeah.
It's unreal. What's your maintenance? What's yours?
Well, it was a sticky one for me because I had lipolytics in play as well, which was taking like probably another 750 calories off of wherever that maintenance lied. So I had to go back up to maintenance and then account for it. You're not going to take them out across a week diet break. So you keep them in, but you have to just account for it. So I ended up having like just under 5,000 calories a day in my maintenance.
Just to track back on, you mentioned lipolytics. For those that don't understand what the term means, do you want to go into what you was using and what a lipolytic is, just to get
just a quick overview of fat burners. So anything that's going to basically increase your calorie deficit or drive up the mobilization of fat from fat cells, i.e., make you lose fat a little bit faster. So I was using synthetic thyroid hormones T3 and T4, not for the purpose of speeding up or enhancing my metabolism, but just to keep it consistent, to stop that metabolite adaptation over time. When you deficit, your body adapts, it's efficient. Clenbuterol to drive up my BMR, my base metabolic rate. So just throughout the day, I was burning more calories in a nutshell. And then your Himbin was there to actually focus on that beta cell moving of fat, from fat cells. So actually taking the fat out of the cell and then transferring it into triglycerides and energy sources further on down the line. But that were the ones I was using. No DMP, no disgustingly savage, untested human stuff. Everything is all safe for human use and used clinically. But yeah, that's lipolytic in a nutshell. Just things that enhance fat loss. So we had to be accounted for in the maintenance. You had to, there is a calculation for this much should give you X amount of calorie deficit push. So we just bump it back the other way.
For those that may have twigged up a little bit there and interested in what George was saying, I do recommend going to George's consult service to talk about performance enhancements, because it's not just a 10-second thing of him saying, oh, this is what I was using. Just briefly, I'm not going to mention dosages because you're going to be an idiot and probably do the same thing, even though it's not going to be calculated for you. Hence why probably George didn't want to mention it. There's no need to, because the best thing to do is, if you are interested in these sort of things, talk to him, get a consult, because he will grill you for half an hour, depends what service you pay for. And you will learn so much more about how to put things in play from there, rather than just listening to see what your mate, or in this term, it would be George. Oh, George did this. Yeah, but George is 6 foot, 250 pounds. It's not for you. This is where it easily goes sideways of you thinking you can just do what someone else did, the bro way.
Big time, man. It's the same thing. I was trying to say the same thing about my YouTube channel. I'm trying to give out free content, but there's only so much you can talk about for free.
It's golden, yeah.
Right? It is the finer details of stuff. That is what the consultation service is there for. I'm just trying to trickle you in with, hey, look, if you want to talk about these things, come to me and we can actually sit down and lay you out plans and stuff. But yeah, I mean, I actually, weirdly enough, have more female Ped consults than I do men.
That's extremely interesting. These obviously competitors, I take it. You got to think when you are even not so.
I've had quite a lot of like postmenopausal females looking into HRT, which was quite a big one. I spoke about it on one of the podcasts ages ago with Zoe, talking about the use of HRT. From there, I've had a group of mums, they all kind of know each other that have because of the potential cancer threat of using synthetic estrogen and synthetic progesterone, which for some reason the medical service and our NHS system still promotes, which baffles me, even though the current literature clearly points in a better direction of using testosterone. But yeah, it's a funny way that went, man. It was there kind of intended to thought, oh shit, I'm gonna have loads of 18-year-olds coming to me, want to do their first cycles, rah rah rah. And I literally got the opposite end of the spectrum. I got 56-year-old mums.
Yeah, but that's where you can go into going back to knowledge. It's value. It's valuable. So we invest a lot in ourselves. yes, you want to give out and help people and all things like that if you have a passion for it. But if you want to invest, if you want to learn, the only times I've ever improved is with investment. And tenfold every time.
You can't expect, and I can say, like, I try and do both. I try and educate myself outside of the investments that me and you both make with coach. You're paying for like members sites and things like this. I try and do it on my own, but you have to get to a certain level of knowledge to understand where in the rabbit holes of everything you are, and you'll get to a point when you're diving through it on your own where you'll hit the end of what you understand. There's a line and you go, right, at this point, this is out of my league. I need the guidance now. This is where the mentors, Joe, and the member sites where they've got all that information there comes really, really in handy. It's the best thing I recommend for any coach or athlete. It's just start spending some money. Yeah, it's not a cost. It's an investment, because what you get in return is applicable to clients, is applicable to yourself, and that is priceless. You're gonna earn money from being a better coach.
Yeah, especially like as a coach, you're trying to pass on knowledge. One thing we're told on a constant basis is constantly invest. Even now, I even picked up with Joe the other week. He put a screenshot up of something, a chat with a client, and he was talking about whatever going on there. I saw the tab in the background. Joe's reading a study on something, and I just nosed at it, and I was like, "Oh, it's interesting to see. You're still at your level, and still in the background, you have studies that you are still looking at."
This is. I actually had this conversation with someone the other day. The problem we see with, right, I don't want to anyone listening, Eddie Abu, fantastic, literally a pinnacle of English bodybuilding, one of the only like English Olympians we've had over the years. Like, obviously there has been a pretty amazing one being Dorian. He's in the mix of there's only been a few of them. He's got a gym near me now. I have a lot of respect for him. I love his gym. I love talking to him. He's great. It's nice to hear that old school methodology come through still. But there's a lot that he says, and it's just wrong. To the point, though, not even just on anabolics, talking like training and eating. And the other day, someone come to me and said, "Hey, I just wanted to run this past you because you're a bit more up to date. I got told I can't have, like, I need to split my macros up. Like, I want to have my fats and my carbs like separately." Like, what do you mean separately? Like, no, like completely separate, like all your carbs here and here. I'm guessing what they was getting at was around the workout window, all your carbohydrates, and then in the other meals, you just bosh the fats out of the way. And I was like, so what, you say you have 50, 60 grams of fat a day, well, you can have 50, 60 grams of fat in that one meal at the end of the day. All you're going to be doing is waiting for a massive giant log turd to come out. I'm sorry. Just logically, it makes no sense. And there's trace macros in everything you eat. Every carb contains some protein, some fats. Every fat contains some protein, some carbs. Like, there's minor exceptions to that, but it baffled me a bit. And I was like, is that still a thing? Old school bro methodology?
I mean, when I went to my first ever seminar, I think it was 2017, and it was talking about the basis of macros, and then proteins, fats, and carbs, and where to put them in a diet plan and things like that. And the bro way is the easiest way to put it, is keep fats away from the workout. It's like that's the way I was told. It was like, okay, I see what you're saying, but when you dive into it more, you have a better understanding of why this. And that's the thing that's missing a lot. And that's what I'm piecing together more and more in my coaching journey, is the whys. Because it's easy to tell someone something, but to go into the why creates peace of mind, which creates knowledge. And that's how I really go off things now.
That specific situation I was talking about, I needed a lot more context, because I got the secondary. I'm sure whoever said it to him probably had a reason for it. Maybe they was talking about the workout window, right? And I completely agree. You don't want loads of fats around the workout window, but 10, 15 grams is not really going to do a massive deal of damage to your workout. You're not going on a endurance triathlon. You don't need to worry about it too much. But just the way he come across was like completely fucking like, how many meals you have in a day, G? 12. What? One protein meal, one carb meal, one fat. Like, what's going on?
It's I think we get more context of it.
That is the point I'm getting at, was the Joe with the tab open. The problem with the career we're in is that there is no such thing as knowing everything, because science evolves over time, and all the old shit that you learn I guarantee by the time we're done and retired, it would have been flipped on its head, and there'll be things that we were wrong about now because of new science and new evidence that comes out.
Not just on the evidence base, going from a bro way. I was talking to someone the other day, potential client, and he was going through the old ways of stacking a cycle and having estrogenic side effects like gyno, things like that, and supplementing with like tamoxifen and arimidex, things like that. And it was like, wow, like I can't believe this is the way we were actually told this at the start, and now we know this as complete negatives. To be like, why was this happening in the first place? To go into, you shouldn't have to use these if you get an extreme estrogenic side effects. It's definitely where you can jump in a lot more than I can, with having those negative effects from using exogenous testosterone, things like
that. We don't need to go into. We can do an episode on estrogen. That can be a whole podcast, man. But that, I think, again, another thing, new evidence comes out, and you have these older coaches that, because it worked, they're ignorant to wanting to adopt the truth. You know, what we can only go off of what is correct at our time, and that's going to keep constantly changing and evolving. So someone like Joe will keep up to date with the current literature, because that's going to apply here and now, and it's going to keep changing week to week, month to month, year to year. And if you're not, you're going to get left in the dust, and you're going to fall behind, and then that's where your track record will only carry you so far. And it's hard to drill that into people that have got results. And there's even coaches that I've worked with and produced Mr. O's, and you listen to Fuad's podcast sometimes, and they're talking about these coaches, and they're saying about their old methods, and they're laughing about it because of how wrong it was. But at the time, that one individual ended up Mr. O. So they don't want to let go of it because it worked. But just because it works doesn't mean it's right. So a bit of a rant from me.
That's always going to be the back and forth. Don't get me wrong, it still rattles my brain now, the evidence-based way against the bro, whereas me and you have conversations on a regular basis of these sort of examples. And it's having a respect for either one, I think, is the easiest way to do it, because that solves arguments.
100%.
Because, it worked. You can't tell me why it worked, and I can tell you why it shouldn't have worked, in that sort of way. But it worked overall. So there is always going to be that back and forth, and it's just having an understanding of the whys and the whats and the reasons, and then come to a flat line with it and go with your decision, whatever you want to make either way.
The only time I ever think there's a definitive answer is when there's an inherent risk at the end of the decision. So when it comes to anabolics, I think there is right and there is wrong. Well, maybe there isn't, man. What is every day-to-day worth to everyone else? Some people are willing to take that risk. Some people are willing to push hard than others because they think they don't actually care. They'd rather do the whole fast, die young.
I mean, we've had friends who want to push anabolics and ignore certain things because of their age they're at, and they think they're on a timeline, which is understandable. Which I've had friends in their late 20s, early 30s thinking, if I'm going to be anything as a competitor in bodybuilding, I'm going to have to take a risk if I'm going to come anywhere close to a potential goal of being a phenomenal athlete, which is understandable. Fortunate enough, in mine, your position, we're still in the younger parts of our 20s. So we are on track. And if anything, to some other people, we're even late, to the level that we're at, because others have surpassed us tenfold at this point. But genetic freaks and things like that, people that started using anabolics when they were 15 and things like that, there's going to be loads of different things, but we'll find out in 20 years what the result of those sort of things.
This is the thing, is what's the cost? What is that? What is the risk?
Is the cost? Risk to reward ratio.
I'm not afraid to push. I'm not afraid to really see what I can tolerate. But the key word there is being, what can I tolerate? It's finding that bar and knowing that at this point I can't go past that mark. So I'm still in that discovery, but it means that I am very, fuck it, let's do it. Let's go. Right. It's new territory. Yeah. Let's go.
And then you're aware.
But it's being aware. It's keeping track. It's knowing your health metrics. It's doing ECGs, checking your heart size, checking your left ventricular growth, checking your blood work as regular as possible, calcium score tests. It's doing it, but being aware of when the repercussions are going to happen. And if you don't test and check these things, you don't actually know when. You could be taking a fraction of the dose you're on back then, and it could have been doing damage then. So what's it doing now? But you didn't know because you didn't track. Or you could be taking loads and coming off cycle and thinking, I need to have a chill for a bit. But you could be brand new. So there was no need. You just wasted time.
Oh yeah, let me get my bloods done after I've just done a mini cut. Oh yeah, my bloods are fucking sound. Oh, that's cool. Let's push up again. How did you where you know where was you at?
You want to be anal about it? Do it before, at the beginning when things are low. Do it during. Do it at the peak, and then do it when you come back off.
And then that's the plan. That's the plan at the minute, because I got the bloods done when we were pushing. I found out we were having some fucking negative things going on, not on the bloods, but as in with fake tests, things like that. Having a test score which is lower than females, which is ridiculous.
At that point, what was it? Something else was carrying you along, wasn't it?
Primo.
Yeah, the primo was.
I was still progressing. Still having, fucking protein synthesis going on, growing muscle tissue, but then the answer is there was no
estrogen or DHT.
I'm going to use that word exogenous a lot. There was no testosterone there. Therefore, how was I progressing? The answer was primobolan, because that was still real.
So the androgens were being, so your androgen load was being carried by whatever dose of primo he was taking. But the thing missing from that
fortunately was on me up.
Yeah. And you can't say you wasn't progressing, because there was some progress made, but you just felt like absolute dirt.
There was already going to before, but the feelings of having low testosterone, a little bit more emotional and feeling a little bit down and borderline, not depressed, but not quite yourself. And I was like, it must just be my training block. I'm on week 4. I'm tired at the minute. That's all it is.
That's the thing. You're always looking for that external. It's not that. It's this. It's got to be something else.
Trying to find the answer. The answer. What is the answer?
But that situation right there is prime example for the reason why shit was going west. Was obviously no testosterone, no conversion into estrogen, no conversion into the hydrotestosterone. Your body needs that healthy regulatory amount to balance. Alex's word, balance. You need that within the hormone setup, and everyone's balance on their androgen to estrogen ratio and DHT levels is all very different and individual to that person. But without it, you can't. This is why you need testosterone as a base. This is why oral steroids don't compute, because you're missing out on factors that are going to keep you healthy. Estrogen protects your heart. It helps with being protective of the brain, heart. So DHT for strength. There's a reason why I started poning you on lifts for a while there, and that's because you had no DHT.
Yeah.
That was the only reason. But I think it made me feel small again.
Yeah. Well, no, I had a humbler the other day on that Atlantis incline. You were like, oh yeah, I'll chuck 7 plates on that. Yeah, it'll be all right. Yeah.
7 plates aside for the listeners. Aside.
There was 7 plates aside. Bear in mind, I was rolling at 6 at my strongest, and I was like, I'm not going to be able to hit 7. I don't care how tight those elbow wraps are on me. Wait, I did 7, didn't I? For like a few. No, I think it was 6.
You could have.
It moved. 6 moved quite well, but it was like working set accidental failure again when I wasn't supposed to because of my reps in reserve that week. And people are like, I'm fucking working reps in reserve. Shut up. How about fuck off? Yeah, if you're gonna argue that, that's my training. I've got to do what I've got to do. But yeah, maybe on the next push up we'll see 7 plates hopefully.
Oh boy, you've got some catching to do.
That you've got to think chasing a whole plate. That's not easy work.
It swings and roundabouts. Yeah, by that point, I'll be May my prep starts. And by that point, I'll be walking around going, I don't want to train with you after a week of shit.
And, hey, George, you want to come train?
No. I'll pose with you.
Yeah, that'd be good. That's when I won't want to get naked.
Exactly.
That's when we're going to the new gym, for example. I've been training that since I moved down here. The people love leaving weights on machines is one thing that's been...
I noticed that.
Honestly, it's been the worst thing. And people are going to get... I have my eyes peeled every time I see someone put something plate loaded because, unfortunately, it's not impressive amounts of weight. That's the annoying part. I've seen people leave a 10 and a 5 on a barbell, even a 15 alone on the incline Atlantis. I'm thinking, mate, I'm just about to put some better weight on here, and you think it's cool? Like, just where there's no ego with it. Like, Is Rob in the gym a lot? No, he's not. Sai is though, and Sai is very aware of it. Like, if Sai sees it, he mugs them off.
I was going to say, because that's what Rob used to do. I used to literally stand there and crease up, waiting for it to happen. Because Rob will go over there and be like, "Hello, darling. If you can't lift this weight, like, we can get the girls from behind the till to come and help you.
Yeah.
Like, he would just fully belittle them. Like that was your warning shot. That was like, I'm pulling the trigger back, but I'm not firing. You do it again, then you see them. Then I'm coming in with the thunder.
Yeah. See, I had the moment yesterday. Guy, there was like a template over top of a 20, and he was on the leg press, the night tram one, and he took the 10 off to grab the 20 off, but he put the 10 on the floor, and then just took the 20 off and put it on the machine, and the 10 was on the floor.
Yeah,
and he did it the other side as well. So there's two templates sitting on the floor. When I finish on the seated ham curl, I just walk over there, pick up both the plates, put them on the rack, like on back to where they were, and I just looked at him and then walked away. And I had a little smirk to myself. I was like, "You're such a dickhead," but I couldn't help it. It was just, I just want him to know you ain't supposed to do that, you know. And I hate to do that sort of thing in the gym. I'd hate to say to someone, "Can you please put your weights away?" Because I don't understand why people do it in the first place. It rattles my brain. It's not clean. It's not. You're just being an arse.
I think because the physique where I train's quite small. Leanne, she's South African. She's savage as fuck. She don't give, honestly, does not give a shit. If I could imagine a honey badger turned into a person, it's her.
Definitely, yeah.
She's amazing, but she's got a savage side. And she will literally, if there's weights left on the machine, she will go on the cameras in the gym and she will look, she'll zoom through, she'll find out who left them on there and she'll go and hunt them down. And if they're not in there, she'll unload it. When they come in, she will give them a bollocking in front of everyone. She don't give a shit.
Yeah.
That should be.
That's definitely the way it should be. It's time to go on to questions.
There was one actually that I got asked. It wasn't put up on here, but it was one that I thought would be good for us to actually talk about. Denny Fit 95. Stephen, is it Stephen Denny or Stephen Denny?
Stephen, I think.
Stephen. Yeah.
I just know him as Denny.
Yeah, well, Denny Fit. He asked about in a weird way. We squashed it in some DMs to find out what he was actually getting at. But in a weird way, he asked about performance enhancements and do they have a place outside of competitive bodybuilding, which is a very, very interesting subject for me because of how my opinion on this has changed a hell of a lot since when we first started. And I know yours probably has as well, but you know, back in the day it was, and this is going to sound very hypocritical because my first cycle, I was 18 and I had no intention of bodybuilding, none. That was not like in my mantra of, I'm going to do this, I'm going to become a bodybuilder. I literally just wanted to get jacked. I just wanted to get strong. I wanted a big bench. I wanted to look good. So at the beginning, I was like, I don't give a fuck. No, you don't need to be a bodybuilder to take all these drugs. So, and then when I started to move into the bodybuilding side of it, and I actually started to understand the risks that can potentially be there, it swayed to, you know, when I first started coaching, it was, you know, I wouldn't let lifestyle people use Peds and enhancers because it wasn't worth the risk. But I was almost deciding that for them. And as times progressed, now I have no opinion. I literally have zero opinion. We summed it up quite well the other day when we spoke about this. It's not our job to have that opinion. It's our job to, you want to do this? This is what I'm going to lay you out the details of what the journey you're about to embark on. And then you can decide for yourself whether the risk is worth the reward. And it's just then from then on, it's my job to make sure that you do it in the safest or safer mean as possible.
I can agree completely with every word just then. And then we can go into the moral side of things that where I have a place with, and I'm sure you do as well. Because we are taught in a way to be as optimal and as 100% as we can be in our approach to whatever the goal is. You know, of course, me and you have to work extremely hard to get to where we want to get to, and if not harder in some aspects, purely because we can be better. Even as a lifestyle client, you want to get to a certain goal. It's my job as your coach that you're investing in to show you what, or to tell you what 100% can get. Because if you're acting a certain way, you may only be able to get 75, 80, maybe even half of what you could achieve. So that's what comes down to me morally. What's the fucking point of me showing you or you doing it if you're not going to be able to get the most out of it? That's the realness coming from me because, for example, we spoke about a client that signed up with me recently, wants to go the enhanced route. And I'm doing them almost like not like a tester as such, not like a test. It's just I want to see if he can stick to what I'm setting originally. And then to show that you want it, to show that you're worth investing the time into it. You're not just pay as you go coaching, you know, oh, pay me and I'll show, because that's kind of how it is. But I'm not just going to take you down this route unless I know you're going to like make the most of it, because there's a risk involved. And I want you to understand that before we move forward. And you are going to do it in the safest way, but do you want it? Why do you want? Why? What is your reasoning? You're not. We want to be competitive bodybuilders. Hence why we have to keep up with the Joneses, quote unquote. And that's why we're going down this venture. It's the worst part of bodybuilding to me, but it's what we have to do. We want to do it the right way, the safest way. Hence why we invest so much into it. Blah blah blah. But going back to the lifestyle thing, now we agree on we'll show you the right way, and then make a decision.
See,
that's my view.
I think that's the only thing I think where we differ in that situation. I
jump straight in.
Not again. Like we did say this on a phone call. Like the people that I get consulting me for coaching have either done cycles already because of how I display my demographic, or they've done it themselves and now are coming to me because they want to do it the right way, or they've already made the decision they're gonna do it. It's not a case of them asking me my opinion. They just come to me and they're like, I want to do this, I want to do that. And it's like, well, right, shit, okay, he's obviously made up his mind, or shit.
Slow down.
I'm going to whoosh him back in a minute and we're going this direction. I'm just going to help guide him right. But if I have someone like that who is natural, comes to me, is on the fence, then there's got to be a lot of communication. You got to lay out, fertility. Do you want to have a family when you're older? Because you shutting down your natural hormone production once, you could be that genetic outlier that never starts again.
Yeah.
Let that sink in, because that's a possibility. Always is. A very slim one, but it's potential. Could even happen to natural people when they fucking prep, man.
Yeah. I mean, it's one of the things, just to dive into quickly about fertility. Sorry, jumping on you. I've swallowed it, and for a while, potentially it may not be on the cards. Is it a worry of mine? I'll be honest, yeah. It has been some, but can I accept that it may not happen? Yeah, I really can. And the longest way, IVF, things like that, adoption, it's deep, but that's the reality of the risk.
Yeah.
And it is worth it to me to take that, because I fucking love what I do. And they walk hand in hand. But do you know that? The individual asking, do you understand that risk?
It's a funny one, because I didn't when I started. I started my first cycle on my own, and I had no clue what to do. So I sound hypocritical.
How old were you?
18.
Me too. I was 18. TTM 500 Rip Blend is what I was given. Paid through the goddamn roof for it. Whoever fucking sold it, no, was making some decent money off me, because I know how much that shit goes for. But yeah, TTM 500. 300 test, 100 trend, 100 master on this TTM, I believe. I was 15% body fat, I believe, when I started. Turned into a water buffalo. Well, yeah, looked like a guy who lifted, I guess, but went to IB. I went to IB for, and that's why I wanted to. And I had like 6 weeks to go, before I went. That's what people say. Oh, can you get me in shape in 6 weeks? And we've all had them. So, well, it depends if you're a hyper responder, mate. We hope you are, because that's 6 weeks. It's not, and that's if 6 weeks of nailing it. That's not even adjusting to the process and understanding what you need to do and actually hitting the tasks. But yeah, long story short, it didn't work out best for me, and the domino has then fell from that moment onwards, and didn't use for another 3 years before pursuing bodybuilding and investing in the coach and realizing the risks they were actually taking.
Yeah. But then I think the IB thing leads us onto a big topic of conversation here is, there's 8 billion people in the world.
Is there actually 8 now?
I don't know, it's something like that. It's 7 or 8. What does our opinion matter? It's not our place to give an opinion.
Depends who asks.
And then, yeah, of course, if he asks, but then your opinion can't come from an emotional standpoint. It just has to come from a factual. This is what's going to happen. These are the potential risks, and you make that decision. My opinion means nothing. So I come at it really unemotionally now.
Yeah, that's
the key. It's not letting the emotion trickle into your decision, because you just have to say A, B, C, decide. It's not. I don't give a fuck. I'm not going to try to sway you. I don't care either way.
But, and I am not going to talk you into it. That is one thing that
I've seen plenty of coaches push it, man. It's the worst.
I don't care. I do not care about an Instagram picture. Couldn't give a fuck about it. Of course, I can
get one from natural guys. I don't need.
I can do it naturally. Say we're going into a progression phase, like I have clients doing now. They are getting heavy. we're rolling with it. We are trying to maximize muscle gain in this time. Naturally, you're realistically not going to put on a lot of muscle in a year. That is fact. You're going to put on a decent amount depending on how hard you're hitting it. But let's be honest, if you're enhanced, you will, triple, quadruple those numbers in the same time frame.
Genetic individuality of the person.
Exactly.
You're going to do a lot more.
Yeah.
That's the pinnacle. But, the Ibiza thing, how many people, look at our culture, look at our generation now. Drugs, man. It's so widely accepted.
Drugs, man.
Every fucking man, dog and his nan is going to raves, getting off their tits on ketamine and pingers. Like, don't get me wrong, been there, done it in a past life in the old days. But there's all these people doing that, and still, we still take this big like, whoa, matey boy who's come to ask you about jumping on a cycle was probably, 400 or 500 quid deep in fucking bag dealer's pocket at a weekend.
Yeah.
That's the generation that we kind of live in now. So I guess the opinion of it has to be taken away. It's just irrelevant now.
Mm-hmm.
Back in the olden days when things were a bit more taboo, then yeah, but I think the way the world's gone now, man, we're going to see a hell of a lot more of it. I think the demographic of coaching in a general sense has very much moved that way, unless you're specifically looking at like natural bodybuilding. Outside of that, I think the way it's moved is going in the enhanced direction every way you look. It's if it's not anabolic and androgenic steroids, it's what can I take that's not that's a drug that's going to make me grow.
Oh, what can I just do an oral then to make it easier? Do you know what I mean? Just to go on to me, we just got tagged in this. Do you know this guy, Macca Morris?
Yeah, Macca's G.
Yeah, you know him. Yeah, the same. He tags bodybuilding prospects and you in something. I didn't know if you knew him or not.
Yeah, Macca's. So with all of my men's physique guys, I send them to Macca for posing and Macca's. Yeah, no, Macca's really good. When I say you meet someone now and they have a love for bodybuilding, imagine that, but refined to just men's physique. Like, he loves bodybuilding, but the man and men's physique, there's not a thing you can tell him about it. Like past showings, everything. Like, he just got true passion for it.
When did he last compete?
With Hader.
What, as in he was coached by Hader?
No. He was on stage with Hader.
Oh, what? Which one? Because he hated fucking.
I believe his first ever show. They're good friends.
He's coached by Evolution, yeah.
He's now with Tom Haynes, yeah.
Yeah. I was saying he looked really young in there compared to how he looks in the off season. Maybe because he's just got that face when it becomes back to normal. He looks 5 years older.
Man, I'm excited to see what he can bring. I will be at his shows. He's proven his worth, man. Trust me, he's a good lad.
I will follow him. Better follow me back, you prick.
But yeah, the Q&A time.
Yeah, questions.
So this one's going to take a while.
Which one is it?
Oh my God. High intensity versus reps in reserve style training. 40 marks. Discuss.
Say that again.
Jan.
What did he say?
Oh, Pecs. High intensity versus reps in reserve style training. And he's put 40 marks. Discuss.
Why 40 marks? What's 40 marks?
You lost me there, bud. But hey, look, high intensity versus reps in reserve. I'm guessing he's talking typical DC style, top set back off, leave everything in the tank versus reps in reserve. I'll kick it off with both have a place. Yeah, both definitely have a place, and you shouldn't marry yourself to one or the other. One example of where they could split, or taking cues from both methodologies to apply to a training split, right? In a fat loss phase. Which you definitely can. In a fat loss phase, do you want to be taking every single set to true systemic fatigue and failure and muscular failure? No, because you're going to fry your CNS and your fat loss phase is going to be cut short because you need a maintenance to reset and get everything rolling again, right? So reps in reserve would definitely apply better there. But however, we'll swerve off on a tangent here. Actual current literature, when we look at the current best methods for hypertrophy, actually steers away from complete exhaustion of the muscle and fatigue anyway. It actually states that training within 2 to 1 rep in reserve from complete failure is actually the most optimal position for hypertrophy, right, for growing tissue. I'll have to, when I post this, I'll tag that study and reference it in the comments for anyone who is interested in actually looking at that. But I like to train to failure. I love it. There's nothing better than going balls to the walls and actually taking yourself to a set, coming out of it and not being able to talk, because it's something about it, man. That's why we all started. That's how we all started training, was just going in there and finding your feet and playing around. But let's take the growth phase, for example, right? You're going to want to train within some proximity to failure across most of your sets. But even just say the last set of every movement, take that one to complete mechanical failure. Incorporate the 2 into it. Don't just, I'm going to build up to my top set, and I'm going to go top set, back off, because chances are you're probably not hitting enough volume and you're definitely not moving enough weight to progress, like actually mechanically progressively overload that tension on the muscle from workout to workout. Let's be honest, if we're doing like a barbell back squat, top set, back off, say you're doing 4 plates, you're probably not going to next week go and put 4.5 on, or anything that's notable to actually see progression mechanically and in terms of mechanical tension. So a reps in reserve approach with more accumulated sets, you've got more parameters to progress on.
Yeah. Because if you're hitting those volume landmarks, they could be too short for you. That top set and that back off, you may require more volume in order to progress, to get hypertrophy, to get muscle gain, to grow muscle. Yeah. If you're doing top set and back off, you may need, statistically, and to figure out for you as a person, you may need 2 or 3, removing your back off, just 2 or 3 top working sets to hit those volume landmarks you need to progress. So you may be cutting yourself short on actual progression due to not knowing.
Yeah.
Reps in reserve is still very new in my whole career of bodybuilding. And the progression is still there. I've done both ways. I've done high intensity oxygen plan, as we mentioned before, was the name of it, because essentially it was drop set everything and you were gassed to every workout. But you do become conditioned to that, I will be honest. And we didn't really know what a deload was, so you kind of ignored any sort of signal that you were in need of one. You just had to kind of deal with it, or had a lighter session. I can't remember too many of them when me and you, when we were training together. Oh, we'll have a bit of a light one, but they were there. I do remember small days.
It got to a point where we was having to, we couldn't do the weight week in, week out consistently, so we had to back off for a couple of weeks. That was just how it was.
Some guys can. Because if you're thinking of, actually what we technically did was some form of a deload without knowing.
Yeah.
Volume was still probably too much. Statistically, always going to put that there, because we have no real data to back that up, apart from, we feel all right now let's work back up to our top weight, But the time it took to actually get back to that point was probably longer than it would be if we actually deloaded. I hope that makes sense.
Yeah, looking like the versus situation, high intensity, so going balls to the walls for 1 or 2 sets, or taking every set to failure and then training in reps in reserve. I think if you're an individual who can genetically recover from that type of training, then you're probably you are going to be better off putting the muscle through more. But
we do have to say,
I don't think I've seen many who can take that kind of fucking hounding, man, and it doesn't leave a lot for progression. Just the metric of reps in reserve is something you can progress. You could do the same reps, the same volume, same reps, same sets, same weight across a 4-week block. But if you go from 4 reps in reserve all the way down to 1 rep in reserve on the final week, you've progressed. You've done more. So it's a metric you use. You're taking that metric away if you don't use it.
And then where you end at the end of that block of your 1 rep, maybe even 0 reps in reserve, and you're hitting these amount of weights on that movement. For example, with chest press, you've worked up to be at 100 kilos for 4 working sets. That then will become, for 10, 12 reps, that has then become your start point for the next one of that weight of those loads. And you are going to have to, if you want your graph to be doing this, because we always want the graph doing this, you are going to have to push yourself to progress, whether it's by 1 rep or 1 kilo, 1.25, 2.5, or a 5, if it even is that. That is what you're going to need to do. You look back at your logbook or heavy set, whatever you're using, whatever app you're using. It's the same as what I do. I did 100 for 10 last time. I now have to hit 105 for 10, or I'm going to have to hit 100 for 11, just as an example, just to make sure I have progressed and I haven't flatlined.
Yeah. So yeah, to answer the question, it's definitely something to debate and talk about. I think it's definitely something you need to look at both ends of it. You need to look at where in my macro cycle, right? So the build up of microcycles throughout a phase, whether it's a growth phase or a fat loss phase, what is the most viable option to drive the necessary stimulus to make progress at that given point in time? And that's going to change across the growth phase. It's going to change as you progress. The same way in a fat loss phase, it's going to change over time as the body responds and you get into new environments and new territory. Everything's going to have to be applied in a slightly different way to each individual. So my end cap for me, I don't know if you want to clarify any more hours.
Yeah, I will.
Just don't marry yourself to either or. Don't be one of them people that's I only train to failure all the time, or high intensity as it's called, or I only train in reps and reserves. Get them both in the middle. Use a mixture.
Because essentially you will be working at a high intense level at some point in your mesocycle when you are having to work to failure for the last week, maybe 2 weeks, something like that. You putting a story up of us two. You could have let me smile a little while I'm chatting shit. Yeah, you lost me on that one. Brainwave, you brain fart, because you took that picture. But yeah, you can put the two together. Simple as that. We've done it both ways. One way works better for George and one way works just as well for me. And I'm on a new venture to find out the other way if it works for me as well. Reps in reserve versus high intensity. Do whatever the F you want to do, because it's your physique, it's your journey, it's your passion. Get amongst it. You know, guys that are athletes, coaches themselves going into it, whatever. Just do what you want to do. Does it work for you? Yes. But just because it works for you doesn't mean it's going to work for someone else. So try and pick up the knowledge of other styles, you know. Introducing different types of training. Some guys, you know, PEDs like to put Ciabatta training and things like that, and then in fucking circuit training because it's good for the client. Same as it becomes, huh?
That's a bread, isn't it?
The bread?
Ciabatta.
That's Ciabatta training. Google it. You keep making me lose my train of thought.
It's because you keep saying silly things like Ciabatta training, man.
It's not just Ciabatta.
I'm calling it Ciabatta now. That's Italian Ciabatta training.
You know what?
You do a lot of this. This is what you do. You just do this when you're training.
You hold on to that. We're Googling the exact definition of Ciabatta. Because I had it in one of my earlier programs a long time ago.
Oh, dear. While you're looking that up, Muscle Origin, my guy, shout out to Muscle Origin. He's a fan from India.
Really?
Yeah, he's a G. He comments on everything, mate. He's very there. But yeah, best injection sites for subcutaneous areas to pin.
Oh, for me,
anywhere that's fat.
Well, there we go.
It doesn't matter where. There's no best site. It's just where's comfortable for you to get to. Mobility. I like lower back fat, but when I'm in my peak off season, I can't get around there for shit. So I go on the belly. You can go in if you got chunk. Just anywhere there's layers.
Just I wouldn't pin the same place every time.
Yeah, that's the takeaway.
Really, because you will get a bit sore. We've known people to have some quite strange bruising going on because you're abusing one place.
Did you see the YouTube I put up about intramuscular versus sub-C?
I shared it, as in I shared the thing.
But you didn't watch it, yeah. Mate, in the study I referenced, fucking bastard.
Bro's gonna bro. I have to share it at least, even if I didn't watch it.
You did 50% of the job. That's all that matters. In the study I referenced in it, they was looking at like, did it change the pharmacokinetics of the testosterone they used? Watch the video if you want to find out the information about it. But the thing that they did was they used 4 mil of the amount of anabolic suspended in oil, and that 4 mil got put subcutaneously. Before I get angry when people do that, it's sub-C, but subcutaneous. 4 mil.
But I'm confused when you say 4 mil. When I'm thinking, why is he not mentioning milligram?
No, because it was 1,000. It stayed the same between, because it's a
That's
study. They had to have everything.
Yeah.
So it's 1,000 mgs, 1,000 mgs of testosterone undecking away. So it's lasted fucking ages.
There we go.
But they split between, some group did intramuscular, some group did sub-C.
Yeah.
But it was suspended in 4 mil of fluid. So intramuscular 4 mil and sub-C 4 mil.
Yeah.
4
Why don't
mil.
you say sub-Q?
Because it sounds like we're going to get into this now, right? So when you say the word subcutaneous,
sub-Q, you're pronouncing the start of the Q. Cutaneous.
You're saying no because it's a C.
Yeah, I know it's a C, but there we go. This is going to be funny because obviously.
Yeah, that's fine. I don't mind people saying it.
Cutaneous. You're saying sub-Q because you're abbreviating it. We're not saying the.
All right, we'll call it subcut then, because that's the first 3 letters.
But it's CU. Q.
Right. Okay. I settled this. I had this exact conversation because I settled this with one of my clients. I sometimes say sub-Q as in like cutaneous. But when someone writes sub and then the letter Q in like a comment or when they that drives me nuts. Because it's just incorrect.
You don't like it. It's incorrect. It's not right. It's not right.
It's just not right. My brain just goes, eh? Same guy. How to store preloaded insulin syringes and how many days medicine still save in plastic syringe. Basically, I'm guessing he's saying, can you preload your insulin for the week? Now, we've had this conversation with Joe. Get the pencil pot out, preload for the week, drop them in the pencil pot, and then as you need them, take them.
Pot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you
just put mine in the fridge. I don't preload personally. It doesn't take up too much of my time. I just keep mine in the fridge, and that's how I do it. And then
depends. It obviously depends on what PED you're using. If it's anabolic, they don't need to go in the fridge. But if it's growth hormone, it needs to be suspended in. Left in a 2 to 4 degree environment. Once the solution's mixed, things like insulin and that, I'm not too fussed on keeping them in the fridge, man. So
keep it all with it. That's all I do. Keep it out of the way.
Just if you're going to preload, only do a week in advance, but ultimately you could probably preload a month. The decay rate of anabolic and androgen steroids is extremely long, man. You're going to lose, I can't remember the study exactly. I believe it was like 1% down regulation over like 9 years or something silly. So when it has the expiry date, you can ignore it most of the time. Preload them, fire away. If it makes it more efficient in your day and week, then I know plenty of people that do. Backload them. Don't stick it in and pull it out and draw like you would normally. Get a drawing set up, 32 gauge green and syringe. Preload your insulin syringes, so you're only going in the skin once. You don't blunt them.
What you mean by that is you're not using the same pin to go into your insulin through the rubber cap, which can blunt. There is studies on blunting the needle. Obviously, you are going into something first. It's not the first time it's been into something. Hence why if you do that, which I've done numerous times, I don't really mind it. And it goes in and it feels a little bit more resistant because of the bluntness, the tiny amount.
You feel it, man. You do feel it.
You do feel it, let's be honest. But it's
I'm
not.
I hold my hands up here. Me and Zoe run out of insulin syringes and we was like, oh shit, I'm so out of whack here. Fuck. So I put the order on. I couldn't get next day. So the earliest it would come was 3 days. So we had 4 that we'd use that day. But bro, them 4 got dusted every day until the new ones turned up.
Oh mate, I've had the same ones. I was in the hotel. I accidentally only packed 3, and guess what? We were rolling.
Yep.
It still worked. It was an insight because me and my paranoid self, I don't like to use these things more than once, but I had to. I was like, you know what? We'll try it. If it's too bad, don't have to. It's okay. You're going to lose a few days, but it is what it is.
Yeah.
And it went fine. Did I feel a bit odd doing it? Yeah, but it was okay. Is it hygienic? No, not by any means.
I don't recommend, but in certain situations, it's either you don't do your peds or you do. Like, as long as you're not sharing, it's fine. In my book.
Fucking literally, any other rule is whenever you got availability to have them, put it in your sharps pot, done.
Yes.
Every single one you use.
Yeah. A little bit of a normal question. So how long do you train for? Shout out to Jay Harding, 7PT.
What are you saying? My sessions can range. Leg sessions are always the longest for me, maybe similar for you, purely because of the amount of rest I have to take in between working sets. Because I only have 3 minute rest on my leg workouts compared to other workouts where they're 2 minutes or 1 minute or 90 seconds. So on average, from the moment I walk in, I'll always have a catch up with a few friends, things like that at the start, maybe go to the toilet, pre-workout in, put my headphones on. Hour and a half, 2 hours is me. If I'm in there any longer than that, I've known I've chatted too much shit to people because I do get involved in conversation sometimes too much.
Understatement of the year.
As George knows. I
don't mind it too much anymore, but back in the days when I used to, was a bit toxic, shall we say, it used to drive me. I was just like, I would just cack on with the workout. You'd see me out, I'd be like, oh, thanks for waiting. But bro, I've done 2 exercises. I'm
here. I'm getting it. You weren't even sorry. They didn't even come out your mouth. It was just cracking on.
It's just I just know if I see Al start talking to more than one person, I might as well just carry on. It's done. Yeah. We're done.
Other people have picked up on that as well. Like if they're jumping in, I turn around, I went to go, and he's already going again. I'm like, oh, okay. Yeah. Maybe I was talking to someone for too long, but it's hard.
It's bad thing, man. You're just a nice, likable person.
I care about other people as well. I want to know about what's going on with them, and you're having some cool conversations about what their plans are and all that sort of shit. I'm not talking to them to talk about me. We're having a catch up. I don't go clubbing anymore, so I don't talk to many people. That's kind of about it. Yeah, I don't socialize only with my girlfriend.
So training time for me. I would love to give you a definitive answer. I'm very much I'll go in, I'll quickly go for a piss, usually pre-workout shit, because the pre's hit me quite quickly. That caffeine dump comes in and has to be done. And I'll start training and I'll get it done and dusted as needs to be done. Right. I don't really like to talk much. People in the gym that if they listen to this, they'll know that I don't mean to look like an asshole, but when I go in and put them headphones on or the earphones in, I'm there to do a job. I want to get my sets done. I'm looking at my rest time. I'm looking at my sets, reps, and I'll talk after training and I'll talk before if the conversation's there to be had. But training time it varies from session to session. My leg days at the moment, for example, 3 leg sessions a week, and 2 of them only have 3 exercises in the sessions. Now, at the moment, it's probably 45 minutes to an hour in and out. But by week 5 of my meso, it's going to be like 2 hours of legs, but only doing 3 exercises. Like the volume change over time is going to make my sessions very, very long. And I'm doing 2 sessions on my upper body per day at the moment. So that's split AM, PM again. At the moment, they're probably about an hour each session. So 2 hours max. But by the end of it, they're probably going to be 1.5 to 2 hour sessions each side of the AM PM split. So training time just varies, man. I don't really have like a consistent time. I'm very fortunate that being a full-time coach, I can make my day suit my schedule, So if I've got to train twice a day, the laptop comes with me and I get work done in between sessions. Like you just manipulated the suit. So there's not really like I've only got 2 hours to train. However I need.
Yeah. And if I'm late for anything in particular, then I'm late. That's kind of where he's going with it. And not a lot of people could compare to George's way purely because he is on AM, PM set training. Minimal people have the opportunity to do that. Yeah. And it's a venture he's going on to take part in this to see what he can achieve over long periods of time while doing this style of training with the volume split over this time, getting feeding times in between, work blocks, and then going back to have that fatigue wash off of other body parts to then pursue other body parts. It can be something special.
I'll tell you now, I like it.
Yeah.
It's annoying.
It does take up a lot of your time, though, wouldn't you like to say? Like, as in,
it's annoying.
Because you live how far from the gym?
20 minutes.
So that's 20 minutes, and you're driving there twice a day?
No. So I'll drive there, and I'll either go to a coffee shop in between sessions, or I'll sit in the front if there's not many people. Earphones in still, laptop out, get on with whatever needs to be done. So it's not like, it doesn't really feel like it takes much out of the day. When the sessions get longer, yeah.
I was thinking, because I thought you were going home at some time, and I was thinking, wow, that's going to be definitely. And what's been good is like when you're present, obviously in the gym, you are. I know you're in work mode at home, but you're in like super work mode essentially because you're still in the gym. People walking past you, I'm not sure if they're going to try to talk to you while you're doing your work.
It's hard. It's a very social environment, that place.
Yeah.
People do try to talk to me, and I've
had George, you're not training. Can I speak to you?
I've had a couple of times where I've looked at them with my headphones and I've heard a noise and I've looked up and I've looked at them and it's gone back into my work. And it's not because I'm being rude or that I don't want to acknowledge them. But when the earphones are in, I'm either on a call with someone, listening to something, working, doing something that requires my attention. And hopefully people in that gym don't think I'm arrogant or I'm an arsehole, but it's just how I am. When I'm zoned in on something, I've got to be zoned in on it or it won't get done, which is why I like my office, because it just keeps me
out the way.
Yeah. But no, it's if I had a home gym, which I would love to, I would even like to own a gym one day. So my office is at the gym. So I'm just in my work environment. I would train every single split AM, PM on everything. I would not change it for the world. The ability to go in, bust your bollocks, come out, eat, refeed, glycogen retention back up to optimal, chill for a little bit, let the PNS drop off a little bit, relax, and then back in. Insane. You go into the second session, you've got like a semi-pump still lingering. You didn't get a new one on these new other muscle groups. It just looks great.
Yeah. But hopefully something that some people will be able to do one day. And try. I'd love to be able to try it out one day myself. But obviously, we understand that some people in their working situations is going to be difficult to do that. But it's definitely something, if you can, definitely George is somebody's first. And I can't say it because I haven't done it. But to go into more information on it, definitely worth speaking to him about it.
Yeah, it's very, very good. The last question we got was from the classic Ghost. Big up, Leon.
Big up.
Big love for this question. It's a good question. I liked it. It's I saw it and it's been kind of sat in the back of my brain all day because I'm trying to figure out how I'd go about it. But basically he said, I'll read the exact question out. Build your perfect physique with anyone's body parts from any era. Now, this is going to take a lot of thought, man. Start, obviously, let's go from the bottom up. And don't say bloody thingy's feet again. Because I will fucking slap you.
Lee Haney's feet.
Lee Haney's feet, man.
No, anyone who's a feet person. I'm not. That doesn't make me come with my feet. I'm not a feet person. It was just a joke I said about the physique.
Arnold's Austrian flippers.
Austrian fucking flip cakes. Right, let's start with calves. Ooh. Okay, whose calves? To my memory, Big Ramy has a rather large set of calves. Let me quickly go on.
But see, the problem.
Let's be honest. No one gives a fuck about calves. I don't care who you
are. I'm training them every fucking day at the minute, so I hope people do. So I'm trying to build some.
Okay. Oh no, he doesn't.
Nah.
No, he doesn't. I'll take that back. Wow.
See, I don't. I want to say Tom Platz for the entire lower.
Tom Platz for the entire lower.
Not just his. Are we gonna split? Are we gonna split the quads and hamstrings up?
Yeah, we are.
Okay.
Because I already know whose hamstrings I'm picking. And then we'll go into afterwards.
Ronnie Coleman's calves.
Have you seen them? I think a video of his actually did just pop up. I'm going to go for calves, Ben Pekulski.
Ooh, okay.
EPAC, for those that don't know who Ben Pekulski is, Canadian bodybuilder. Go on to the quads. Greatest quads.
Tom Platz.
I'm going to go Tom Platz. I think Tom Platz's quads did look so good purely because they were oversized compared to his physique, and that's just my opinion. They're not still amazing. I think it's because his legs were such a dominant body part, same as Ben Pekulski as well, with the same thing, same as Antoine Valent. I think Valent, I don't want to say his name wrong. Overpowered legs of physique, so they make him look even more incredible because the rest of the physique isn't as big as the legs are.
Yeah, I can see that, man. But I'm just purely on what it looked like, so I'm just trying to merge it together.
Quads. Who cares about putting it together?
Hey, if you want to just talk about overall mass, then fucking Haddy.
No.
Current Haddy fucking quads, man.
Quads.
I'm sticking with Tom Platz on that one.
I'm going to go Big Ramy.
Yeah, I'll give you that. I'm not going to tell you one, but they're fucking something special, man. They are. The size and the condition that his quads are in is retarded, because usually when they get that big, you blur. You can't get dug out. It just doesn't.
Especially when you hear about the amount of SEO site enhancement that was being used in a straight line near enough down his quads, and how the issue he was having before with getting in condition due to this, I believe, is what I've heard. Podcast, things like that. I'm not saying I know fucking anything. I'm just saying what I've heard. But definitely, when he first won his first Mr. Olympia, those quads are phenomenal. To make a pro bodybuilder's quads look small, you have to be something phenomenal. And Big Ramy does that every time.
Fair enough. What about hamstrings? What are you saying on hams?
Phil Heath, 2011.
Oh, you bastard. Yeah. I was going to say Phil's ham drop, mate. It's just elite.
Yeah. If anyone doesn't know, look at Phil Heath when he does any posing. He will point to his fucking hamstring when he turns to the side, just to show everyone, look at my hamstring.
This hangs like a prime bit of steak here. Have a look.
Abdominals, midsection. So we'll put abdominals and waist together as the same person.
Yeah. Okay. Fair enough. Because I was just going to refer to the midsection in general.
Yeah. Who's yours? You better go with some classic Hunter because he can vacuum.
No. What's his name?
It better not be the same bloke I'm thinking. It'd be interesting if it is the same guy. Is your guy a classic guy? An old guy?
He is. Yeah, he is an old guy.
What origin is he?
Golden era black. What?
Yeah. Where's he from? Because it might be the same guy I got on my screen right now.
Show me the screen. Yeah.
Now that
can't his name come to me?
It's Serge Nabray.
Dan Nabray, yes.
Yeah.
Oh, mate, the original Black Panther. That waist and midsection, 100%.
The greatest midsection to ever grace bodybuilding, in my opinion.
Yep.
Purely because when it gets that sort of distorted look of vascularity over the abdominals, I'm not a fan of. That is just so clean.
He's got that again. That black bubbly genetic. His ab structure is so prominent, man.
And it's tight.
Yeah, but it looks bubbly. It looks big.
Yeah. And there was something that I read, whether it's a rumor or not here at these forums, how much ab work he did daily for his midsection. You see all these things on threads, things like that. I think it was over 1,000 crunches or sit-ups something a day. This is what I heard. Who knows if it's true? No one's ever going to really know unless someone knew who they were. But yeah, I'm so mad that we agreed on that.
Yeah, 100%, man. Surge is mid. The minute you said waist, I was sat there going, I can see the image in my head. I can see that shot. I'm like, yeah. The original OG Black Panther. I'm sorry, Rough Diesel, but nah. Surge was the original.
Chest.
Arnie.
See, I fucking don't want to say it.
I don't like him. I'm sorry, not anymore.
I don't either.
He went very downhill recently.
Not even that, mate. I was never a fan of the whole. I got into bodybuilding when Phil Heath was Mr. Olympia starting off, when I started the gym. So that is who I looked at as the pinnacle of bodybuilding. That is.
I'd agree with that statement. I'd agree. But yeah, you look back to his chest, man. It is the greatest. It's phenomenal. I think it carried him a long way.
Of course it did.
That vacuum structure with the rib cage structure with that fucking it's the deepness. It's so long. Mm-hmm. When he pops it up and you see the rib cage sit up, like it looks like someone's bloody fucking traps. Like someone's opened up a latch spread. It looks like their traps are sat on the fucking lumpy bit. Yeah, mad. Definitely go Arnie's chest.
Yeah. I'll also throw in a name for the midsection, Sean Roden.
Yeah, I could. I'll give you that.
Sean Roden
he's a contender
in 2018. when I watched the Olympia live at like 2 a.m. I was sitting in my bed. I remember it. And he come out and hit a front double. And I was like, that is the cleanest physique I've seen in so long. And I was actually like, wow. And it's interesting when you say wow to someone, that's the person that won. He was the only person that made me say wow. But yeah, Sean Rowe in the midsection as well. Not as modern day, yes, against classic era, Serge Debray. It's toss up between those two.
Yeah, I still don't think he comes close to Serge, but he's a contender. I'd throw him in the mix, but I don't think he comes out anywhere near top.
Delts. Delt was an overall, not just rears and fucking anteriors across. Jay Cutler.
Jay. Yeah, no, I'm going Jay.
Who has phenomenal delts?
I mean, Phil Heath did, but they weren't like.
That's the next name. The same fucking shit. Because I'm thinking of the crab shot.
Yeah.
He hits it like that, and it's just bubbling.
Well, it was the year that Jay downsized. He downsized. He come out and he looked 4 times as big. The delt.
I'll go Phil Heath. Okay. I'm always going to. Phil Heath will always trump a lot. I think he's my favorite bodybuilder.
Are we going to include arms as like a separate bicep tricep thing, or can we just?
Yeah, we do biceps and triceps.
Now it confuses my answer though, because I want to just say Nick Walker's arms. I want to throw that in the mix. For me, I would like Nick Walker's arms are elite. They're they're the biggest arms I've seen without losing, condition, shape.
Yeah.
They normally when arms get that big, they just become that fucking massive lump.
Yeah.
You can see there's a nice peak on the bicep. The tricep hangs up. When he hits his shots, he's not blurred lines on the short and long heads of the triceps. Like, for me, I've got to put that on there.
I may have to come back to that.
This is what I mean. If you split it into tricep, bicep, it becomes very hard.
Because I just say Peter Molnar for triceps.
But he doesn't look that good compared to other people. He looks good in pictures.
It's just because it's the way he hits it. His triceps. He's a classic guy, but
when he stands on, when he stands on, isn't he an IFBB elite pro?
No, he's Olympia qualified, I believe.
Oh, okay. No, he must have moved over there because I thought he was like that.
Yeah. They call him the freezer. I think they call him.
But he stood up when he stood. No, he can't. Yeah, he can't be an elite pro anymore, obviously, because he fucking competed. When I saw him on stage with the other classics guys, I was expecting something amazing, and when he stood next to them, he looked average.
On his own, he looks surely phenomenal.
Yeah. In an Insta photo.
Yeah, let me find this side tricep. Or on his own, it would probably.
It's freaky. No, don't get me wrong. He's fucking freaky. The insertion points are a joke. Look at that tricep.
You can't deny, and that he's got a savage physique. He must pin every meal in that tricep. But yeah, arms. Oh, fuck. I really am going to come back to it because I'm going to have a scroll.
If you're going to split it, I'll probably put Robbie Robinson's bicep.
Or Paul Dillette's bicep.
Or Paul Dillette. No, Robbie Robinson's bicep.
Robbie Robinson. He just pissed me off. He started being a turd on Instagram to everyone. Sergio Oliva, not Junior, just Sergio Oliva.
Who for tricep though, man? Are you going to stick with Peter?
No one really. No, because he can't. I'd rather go open. Sorry to everyone that loves classic.
Fuck off.
I'm trying to think. Who's got phenomenal arms? Who's got the most phenomenal arms in open bodybuilding ever?
Nick.
Ronnie Coleman, it was his worst shot, so I tricep.
Tricep. Robbie Robinson's bicep, Kevin Levroni's tricep.
Let me look
Kevin Levrone in that front shot, throwing the mic everywhere, where he clasped the hand. It's not the crab, but it's kind of the most muscular.
Yeah, but that's not hitting it in the side tricep. They are still, I'm looking at them now. Yeah.
Yeah, but just look at the size of it, man.
Oh, nah. Roly Winkler's triceps.
Yeah, but I just can't not see him as he does.
Bro, let me show you this. First thing I typed in, and it came up with triceps.
Hey, Roly.
Idiot. Look at the size of it.
Man's got more croissants than a French pastry.
Trust me, he is the bakery. That should be his nickname.
Oh.
I don't know if this is photoshopped.
No, his arms when he did the Day of the Life of Nathan D'Asha. I know he's a bit out of touch now, but even then, when he sat there, man, he sits there. His arms just dwarf everyone in the room. I don't know why I didn't think already. I'll still stick with my decision though. If we're going complete arm, Nick Walker.
I'll go Nick Walker bicep, and then. No,
Robbie,
do you know what? I'll go Arnold bicep just because of the shape.
But then that's why I chose Robbie Robinson, man. Have you seen the peak on that? It's bubbly, black man genetic, and peaky.
Let me look.
It's good.
Oh wow, it's very similar to Arnold as well.
That's what I mean, but it's got that bubble to it.
It's fucking stupid, is what it is.
Yeah, that with Kevin Levroni's tricep, I think could be a mean arm. The only thing with Levrone though, I think I'm not slating him at all, but like what we said about Tom Platt's legs looking so big because the rest of him wasn't. Yeah. When you look at his arm structure, his delts, he didn't have massive delts. So I think the arms look Levrone.
Okay, yeah.
So I think the tricep looks so big in some of them shots because the delt wasn't as big as it could have been to balance it out. Maybe that's what I'm looking at. Maybe that's what I'm seeing.
Yeah. I definitely got Arnold's biceps, Rowley's biceps. Traps. Who's Traps? I'll go Dexter Jackson. Just because me and you're on the same wavelength for this, right? It's that he's one of the only ones who did hit the most muscular, like the original style, and it was all Trap. That famous shot of him grinning like no tomorrow.
Yeah.
That's interesting. We think the same way, and people think, "Oh yeah, they pretty." Nah.
Oh, I've lost you, Al. Right, so people, we've lost Al. He is currently frozen in a very pretty face. But yeah, I think that means we call it there. I'm guessing his laptop. I can't stop looking at his face. So yeah, after that little weird technical issue last night, we are back. We have I don't actually know what happens. I can only apologise. Al froze for like a good half hour on probably the best face I've ever seen. And then it all just cut out. So here we are. But we were just finishing off formulating and making our bodybuilder of all ages, all different body parts.
Yeah.
The one we didn't do.
We got to the back, and I believe that's where we finished off. Because who did we say for delts? I don't even think we said delts.
Jay for delts, if I remember rightly.
Yeah, they cut that. I'll happily clear with that.
He was Phil Heath again, if I remember.
Yeah. Just Phil Heath because of the bubbliness again. Then again, yeah, we'll go Phil Heath. Onto the back. Everyone's going to say Ronnie Coleman had the best back ever.
Nah, we're going to split the traps and lats.
Well, I say traps. I'm going to go Dexter Jackson for the lats.
Yeah, I know we did do traps. Yeah. We did that after shoulder.
But for the backers overall, whose back I find the most impressive out of any bodybuilder just by him standing still is Brandon Curry. No one could deny that. He just stands there and walks. The videos him walking through the gym. That is just because of the taper and the size of it. But I'm not saying it's the best back ever. I am going to say it's going to be Phil Heath again. Phil Heath is essentially, for me, 50% of this dream physique, purely because he's my favourite bodybuilder ever.
I'd say it's a toss-up between Brandon Curry or Marcus Wall.
See,
it's because of how fucking wham that when he does his last sprint, how chunky that fucker was.
It's like people are going to say about the size. I prefer a detailed back. Yeah, Phil Heath's lat spread wasn't the greatest, but back overall is, of course, with 2 shots of the back double and the rear lat.
You're going to talk about the most complete bodybuilder to ever exist.
I'll go Phil Heath.
I don't care if this is upsets someone, but I think that, like I said, 2018.
2011 and 2012, Phil Heath.
That was it. Sorry, no, it's 2012. It's 2012, not 2018. Fuck me, we're way off.
You were off.
I'm way off. No, that 2012 was the most complete.
Anyone, just Google 2012 Phil Heath Mr. Olympia, and then you can feel free to jump in my DM and argue with me why that physique isn't the best physique.
There wasn't a shot. It was just every shot was perfect. It was just insertion points, symmetry, lines, fullness, the peaks were just perfect. And then for a couple of years he had running.
That to me, That was the pinnacle of bodybuilding then.
Genetically, I know we don't have to say that genetic card, but genetically, he has got something that no one has. It's almost perfection.
Yeah, looks like he's made of wax, is what I used to say.
Yeah, that's what it looked like.
But then again, when is someone going to be another Phil Heath? That's not really going to happen. Same as people say about another Ronnie Coleman. Was I the biggest fan of Ronnie Coleman's physique? I'm not going to lie, no. That's just my opinion. Was it enormous and conditioned and freaky? Yeah, which is impressive in its own way. But I would always say I liked Flex Wheeler's physique over Ronnie Coleman's physique. That's just my opinion. That is what I look at, my opinion on bodybuilding. Same as why some individual would say, do you know what? I think Breon Ainsley or Chris Bumstead is the pinnacle of bodybuilding. That is what a physique should look like. Or someone might say, Breon Ainsley.
Breon.
Yeah, someone might love his physique more than anyone else. Everyone's going to be a fan of that. Someone might say Rafael Brandao.
Someone is clapped.
Well, he's a classic Mr. Olympia. He's a classic Mr. Olympia. You can't deny it. He was top dog. So
he got that was a pity vote, man. He was probably one of the few that turned up.
I'm pretty sure he was 2-time, if I'm not mistaken.
Nah, Breon's He's the definition. You know, when we talk about like classic bodybuilders and saying like you have to look classic, shape, lines, flow, symmetry, insertion points, genetic structure to fit the classic look. Like when you look at Chris Bumstead and you look at Rough Diesel, two fucking opposite ends of the spectrum, but the proportions and the look to their physique, it is classic. It's just two different scales, you know, one's big, one's little.
Do you agree with some of the top classic physique guys over the years?
But Breon is the definition of a small bodybuilder. He's a bodybuilder that just wouldn't get big enough.
What about George de Bull? He come third, obviously, for numerous years.
I see, because he dropped down to 212, didn't he?
He didn't drop down, he went up.
Yeah, sorry, I don't know why I class that as dropping down. He turned into a class, but because it's not bodybuilding, I always say drop down.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think he did better in placing wise, didn't come off better in 212, but he suited the physique better.
Yeah, but he shouldn't have been in classic. I said it, and so did a lot of people. You know, I was never a social media hater or anything like that, but just looking at his physique, he's like, he's a bodybuilder. That's a bodybuilding structure.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I'm wondering, I'm like, why is he being put in third place in a classic physique Olympia? And of course, I'm not an IFBB judge by any means, but it's like, that's not, you can't compare him to someone like Rough Diesel. You can't.
No.
Terrence Ruff.
Same as Breon, though. There's a reason why Breon won't.
He's on the edge, in my opinion. He's just on the edge. But yeah, the older he gets, and now the favourable looks now change. You now can't really compare him to Chris Bumstead. You're just not going to beat that, are you? Enormous rib cage, tiny waist, great lines, the moustache as well to top it off. And
that's one thing I will never do.
What? Mate, the amount of fucking fellas that have a mustache now.
I'm not growing a fucking mullet. Fuck that. There's only one man I know.
He did that as a joke. I guarantee he did that as a joke. Like, let me grow a mullet and see how many misfits copy me.
Mate, there's only one person I've seen that pulls off the mullet, and that's Tyler. Do you know why? It's because he's not a bodybuilder. He loves he loves his Peds, he loves his ska music. Like, it fucking suits the look. Like, he pulls it off. You see all these bodybuilders trying to go in the gym with a fucking tash and a fucking mullet wearing a stringer. Mate, you look like something out of like a gay porn ad from the 80s.
Oh, there's one guy you want to follow. His name is Big Slank on Instagram.
It just sounds clapped. Big Slank.
He's like 6'3" or 4, I think. Pro bodybuilder, gay, I'm pretty sure. And because he wears like tops that say huge and cute. And he's got a mullet and he's got like the most leery sunglasses. He does like TikTok stuff. He's really funny. But he's just quality is what he is. And that's why it's so great.
If he owns it, he owns it. That's what I mean. When I look at Tyler, it suits him down to a TV. See somebody, Tyler Norris.
Exactly. We've got people listening and know who this guy is. You know,
Big Chuck.
We know him.
Yeah, just one of the boys that trains at Ashford, but he's just not a bodybuilder. He's not like that.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. He just pulls it off. But like I said, it's a fucking hard look to get, man. You see a lot of kids doing it now, and you feel like in 10 years' time they're going to look back at their photos and they're going to be like, "That was a mistake." And then again, I shaved all my hair off. I had the longest hair imaginable, fucking big old.
You had hair, and you got rid of it.
Spaghetti curls and all sorts, and I just shaved it all off. So people probably thought I was an idiot.
Some will say you want to look like Joe Jeffrey.
Some say Joe Jeffrey copied me.
I think Joe looked like it before you did. So
what come first, the chicken or the egg?
Well, he's the chicken in this one. That chicken was bred, wasn't laid.
Hey, look, I don't have an answer for you. I'm just talking absolute shit.
Yeah, because you know what he did.
Look, I grew a better beard, so it doesn't matter.
You did. I even attempted a beard, and we won't even talk about it.
I wanted to shave my head the whole way through lockdown, but Zoe wouldn't let me.
No, I don't. You ain't got to get on the back foot about it, mate. I'm not saying
this is a funny conversation though, because the whole of lockdown, I was getting the ump because my hair was getting thick. Like, it doesn't grow long. I had to spend years like shaving the sides, keep growing it long, shaving to get it like that. It grows out. And in lockdown, it just kept growing out and out and out. And I had this fucking weird gypsy afro going on. And it was just not cool. So I kept saying to Zoe, I was like, I'm going to shave it off. And she kept crying and be like, nah, don't do it. Don't you dare. And one day I just got the ump and just did it anyway. And it was the best thing I've ever done. She loves it. After all that months upon months of me looking like an idiot with this massive mop, she finally gave in. And I was right all along.
And now you've got the minimalist hair.
Yeah. And I will never ever grow it back. Like you can see it every time it comes back, I'll just get rid of it. Now I've just got big chunky meathead veins. But yeah, I believe that is finally wrap up of the podcast.
Isn't it? Oh,
I will include that the freeze frame review. It's fucking
cool. I'm not sure what it looks like, but hey, if anyone wants to put their opinion about who their favorite bodybuilders and who they like and things like that, feel free to chuck in the comments, DM us, anything like that. We're always down for a nice bit of back and forth about bodybuilding, as a love for it, not to argue about it. You know, it's not what we've got to do. We're not always going to
opinionated, man. If you come at me and made up a bodybuilder I thought was completely wrong and against everything we said, it doesn't matter. No, because it's opinionated. It's what you like.
But it was funny that a good few of the body parts we were thinking of the exact same person. Out of all the hundreds, we were agreeing on certain things like
the midsection one, Serge Nubray. That was weird.
One bodybuilder that not even some people even know who he is. For those that haven't seen Pumping Iron or even knew who he was before then, mad. I was like, is this the same geezer on this phone right now? And turn it around, you were like, oh, that's it.
Oh, mate. But yeah, so you know the drill, guys. Any comments, shares, likes, drop us in any communication, guys. We appreciate it all. Check out either of our Instagrams at GW Physique or
at Alexander Becoming. Alexander _ Becoming, that is. My bad.
I was about to correct you because I usually get it wrong.
Forgot my own handle.
Of course, Bodybuilding Prospect Academy. Check us out on Instagram. Head over there. Also, another little plug. I'm just going to drop in now because I can. Any of you that like your cream of rice, any of you that like your whey proteins, any of you that just want some good quality supplements, just tilt your head to the left a little bit, Al. Tilt your head to the left a little bit. See that tub up in that top corner there? That little cream of rice? Complete strength. GW10. Save yourself some dollar on me. But seriously, any sponsors or anything like that, I'll tag in the comments. Any codes and everything that we have. And yeah, that's it from us this week, guys. Next week we will have a guest for you.
Oh yeah, we will.
That's gonna be a good one.
We'll set that up for middle of next week, probably.
Yeah, we got to wait back for the confirmation.
Yes, indeed.
When they can do. Yeah, peace out, guys. All love and carry on getting massive.
See you guys later.